let's get this shit started. Come on now. Come on. I'm turning the music down right now because I'm ready. I'm ready for y'all. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for y'all. Yes, I said y'all, not y'all. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, which around here used to be known as Twitter Tuesday, but now it's the app formerly known as Twitter Tuesday, where I get most of my news on Tuesdays because a lot of it's breaking news and a lot of it's new stuff. But I didn't have the story that AD just asked me about. I wish I did. I heard about it, but I just haven't looked for it. So anyway, this is the show for those of you who are new. I see quite a few newcomers in here today. Welcome to the newbies, and I'm glad you're here. You know what I forgot to tell you guys yesterday on this show was that I was going to be a guest host on the AAA with Sinatra and Drunken Uncle, and a lot of you were already there, so that's cool. But I'm doing it this Wednesday. I'm doing it this Friday. Wednesday it'll be on my channel. On Friday it'll be on what's this channel called now? I have it bookmarked, but I don't. It's something Sin, the Mr. Sin or something. What's his channel called? Anyway, I'll put it on my locals page so that you know. And you don't have to subscribe like monetarily to locals. You can just follow me on locals because that's where I do most of my what do you call it? The information shit, notifications. Those will always go out. It won't necessarily go out. Oh, and also on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. And yes, I'm over 2,000 subs. I might even have a celebration for that because yes, the Silent Sin. Thank you, Kara Soldier. Okay, thank you. Yes, I had to make sure I said that right. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I had so much fun yesterday. It's fun shooting the shit with those guys, and Drunko cracks me up every day. Every time I listen to him, he just cracks me up. Maybe it's just his goofy accent. But anyway, I'm so happy you're here. Before we even get started, Tall Person first sponsored the day with a deuce. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar over on Rumble with a Rumble rant, who says, Timber, it's Happy Lumberjack Day, aka Eat Like a Lumberjack Day, aka Talk Like a Lumberjack Day, aka National Pancake Day. Well, you know what? Me living in the land of Paul Bunyan, I feel you. I feel that holiday coursing through my bones, even though I'm not native to the great state of Minnesota. But anyway, enough chit chat. Let's get going. I got to play the intro and then we'll get it started. Johnny, please stop that music. Thank you. Thanks, Johnny. And play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, let's get it started. Stop the music. Thank you, Johnny. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Tuesday, the 26th of September, 2023. And today, let's just say a vast majority of the stories that I pulled up have to do with a certain former vice president of the United States. Yes, Joseph Raheem Biden. Yes. And I don't know why it just happened to be just a plethora of stuff that was all involving him. And so we'll look at that. And there's a couple other things, we'll talk about Bob Menendez briefly. And I got, there's a bunch of stuff trending. So we'll go through that. But it's Twitter Tuesday, the app formerly known as Twitter Tuesday. And we'll go through some stories. And as some have already mentioned in the YouTube chat, my YouTube subscribers are up over 2,000 thanks to the AAA guys. So I can't thank Sinatra, the Silent Sin, and Drunkle enough for inviting me. I guess Polly's out for a little while, and so they've had a guest host. Last week it was Scribe. This week it's me. It might be me next week too. I might be doing 2 weeks of this, just depending on how quickly Polly gets back. So we'll see what happens. But let's do my show though, because I'll, again, if you follow me on X, at P-Dog Knight, the same as this, or if you follow me on locals, which is also P-Dog Night. That link will be in the description at the end of the show and in the chat. Then you'll get anything else that I'm doing. But I really welcome to all the new folks. I'm glad that you came by this morning, and I hope to see more of you. So, but not too much, nothing weird, okay? I don't want to see that much, please. So anyway, let's say hi to the people in the chat, and then we'll get it started. So first over in the chat on Rumbles, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell for being first. If you're new here, the person who's first gets the bell. And that's 80s theme music too. He gets some people here have theme music, and it's random. It's not, if you don't have theme music, don't feel bad. It's just some random things pop up, and things go through my head, and we go, okay, that sounds like a good theme music for that person. So anyway, also good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg, and Tall Person. So that's everyone in Rumble. By the way, the other part, if you're new here, make sure, as I have in the pinned comment that I'm going to take down in a second, make sure you follow me on Rumble too, and on Locals. Okay, Locals is kind of my alternative notification site, and also if you want to, it's my form of Patreon. I don't use Patreon anymore. I basically got rid of my Patreon and decided to use Locals. If you want to be a more consistent sponsor of the show, because that really helps out, because I got to pay the bills. You can do it over there as a patron on Locals. But you can also follow me on Locals even if you're not a patron, because that's where everyone will get notifications. Then also, and the reason you want to follow me in those two places, just in case I have another little spat with the YouTube powers that be. Every once in a while I have a spat, just a dust up, a conflagration. What's that word? Conflagration, something, congregation. No, that's not it. Oh, good morning, Phantom Dog Fart over on Rumble too. But every once in a while, me and YouTube part ways, because they try to say that I said something that I shouldn't have said or something. And then I go, fuck you, YouTube. I didn't. And then I dispute it. And usually I get myself back on, but then I'm just gone for a week. And so if I'm ever gone for a week, I'm still on Rumble. Rumble's a lot nicer about that, even though they're trying to cancel Rumble. Their advertisers leaving because they won't get rid of Russell Brand. But that's a whole other story. Don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's say hi to the people on YouTube. First in shout out to YouTube is also Avocados Diablo who gets the bell. Well done, sir. Also, good morning to Caro Soldier, a newbie in the chat. I appreciate new people. Welcome. You just get that because you're new here today, and I enjoyed, like I said, I really enjoyed being on AAA yesterday. I'm sure you came over from there. Good morning, Tyler F. Tall Person, Tex AG 007. Also, Mike Savage Blarg, and hang on. See, and I said theme music. This person has the most epic theme music. Welcome to the Grand Inquisitor, Mr. Tyre Alexander. I don't know how that happened. Oh, I know, because Tyre changes his names a lot, and sometimes he has very epic names in the chat, so I had to give him some epic music. Also, good morning, JB, longtime follower, listener. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood, and who else is here? I gotta scroll a little bit because y'all been chatting a lot. Darren Root, another somewhat newbie. I mean, you've been here before, right, Darren? I think you have. I know I've seen your name before. Or maybe I saw you on another stream. But anyway, welcome to the show. Jay Pylon's in the house from Hotep Nation. Also, good morning to JMK. What's up? Good morning to Scribe Light Dog Thrapple. Good morning also to Jesse Leon. And, man, y'all been chatting up storm here. I said JMK, right? Those ain't real dudes here. Nice to see you. Unacceptable Views, one of my friends from on the other side of our border. Nice to see you. I think that's everybody. Aaron Meredith in the house too. So good. Now here's the deal. Oh, and Jimmy Das Hotep over on Rumble. Welcome, sir. Another man from Hotep Nation. All right. So, and if I didn't say your name yet, you're probably not here. But if you are here and I didn't, well, just put a hand wave or something in the chat and I'll remember. Tyre has a name ADHD. Well, I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What was that supposed to mean? All right, should we get into some news? Because that's what I do here. So if you're new here, I basically spend my days, mornings, looking for news stories that people haven't talked about yet, or stuff that needs to be talked about. And this show is kind of a combination of that. Because usually when I get news from Twitter, it's usually fairly new, right? It's usually stuff that. Thank you for reminding me. Those ain't real. I always have my cup of reparations coffee here. I don't know if you're familiar with Hotep Jesus, but he did a little spoof at a Starbucks once after apparently some guys got arrested in a Starbucks. They happened to be melanated people of my people, and they got kind of moved out of a Starbucks for loitering, and so there was a big hubbub right that. And so Hotep Jesus did this little spoof at a Starbucks where he said he wanted to come in and get his reparation coffee, that he heard Starbucks was racist and he was going to get his free coffee because that's what they were, Starbucks buckled. And this girl at the stand was so cute. She's like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that. Well, that's very nice. I will give you your free coffee." So every day I bring myself a cup of reparations coffee, and today it's in the BB39 cup that I got when I was in Hawaii about a month or so ago. And honoring the U.S. Arizona. So I have a few cups from either places I've been or things I've seen. So that's what I do. Big 2A case being heard on Thursday. And this is Jimmy Dot's in the Fifth Circuit. Hopefully we'll hand another loss to the ATF on the frames and receivers rule. Well, yeah, no doubt. I don't have an article on that one today either. I'll probably talk about that tomorrow. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. What's up? So, in the name of Joe Biden, falling down. Well, it's funny you should mention falling down. There's a story about that too. All right, let's get into the news because I don't have all day. All right, so some things that are a little more trending right now. Glock is trending. Like Glock, the pew 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 clock. And Glock is trending because there's a lot of, what's going on here? Oh, I forgot. By the way, I'm saying, my advanced age sometimes makes me do a little Joe Biden thing. So I don't want to forget this. Something that you can do for me right now. I know I love when people hit the like button. I love people when do donations. In fact, if you want to donate to me, I prefer that you do it through Streamlabs, but you can do wherever. Thanks for those people who are able to do that. If you're not able, that's cool too. It's a free show. But the one thing that I actually ask of you, that if you can just do it once in a while, share this stream somewhere on your social media or with your friends or people you know or whatever. That helps me a lot. And then if you know anyone else looking for guest host gigs, I love doing that too. I always get a lot more subscribers from guest hosts. See, I'm one of those disfavored people on YouTube that for whatever reason, my P-Dog Night channel does not get promoted at all. And maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe I don't promote it enough. But anyway, I'm excited to have 2,000 subscribers. Now we'll do a special show for that probably on Thursday. But share the stream. Share the stream. You can share it before, as you see the notification. You share it during the stream. That's whatever. Or you can share it after the stream. People like the replays. And in fact, if you share it after the stream and you have a favorite part of the show, on YouTube, if you hit the share arrow, there's a little square you can click that you can share it from a certain starting point. So you have a favorite segment. Scroll to that segment. Click the box and share from that starting point. Because, I don't really do, I haven't done any highlight videos. If anyone's interested in doing that, I'd be more than happy if you did that. Because I got a lot going on. Although these 2 weeks after my hip surgery, I don't. Anyway, real quick. Wait a minute. Why is that silent? Here, let's fix that. What the hell? Here, let's do this. Oh, here we go. There we go. Now we have the first Streamlabs sponsor of the day, and the Streamlabs accumulate. So right now, Jimmy Das Hotep, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Who says, salute, like, and share this stream. Yes, that's a great idea, especially the share part. So congratulations, Jimmy Das Hotep. You are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day so far. And also over on YouTube, good morning, Nomad.
Stop. Hammer time.
What was that? Why did I can't even now? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on your old name that made me do Hammer Time. It was MC, used formerly known as MC, and so he got the
Stop. Hammer time.
get it, MC, hammer time. And also hello to my favorite Canadian is in the house, Jaeger Pony. Very good. I silenced them last night and probably forgot to unsilence. Yes, I did do that because I just, because they were echoing in everybody's ears and stuff, and so whatever. So anyway, now where was I? We're going to talk about and the last thing before I get into what's trending right now. Thank you very much to Jimmy Das Hotep, to Swamp Fox Ghost, to Tyler F, to Tall Person, to Somnable Nation here yet? Not yet, but for tweeting out the show and sending it to your friends and telling your neighbors and, email it to your mom because moms love me because I'm probably as old as your mom. Anyway, we've been making old jokes since yesterday. I'm not really that old, okay? I'm not 60 yet, okay? I'd say 60 is on the teetering edge of upper oldness, and I'm not that old yet, okay? I got about 7 months before I'm 60. But anyway, you never know it. I got this baby face. If I didn't have gray, I'm going to start coloring this stuff. So I have my hair on my face will match my baby face. All right, enough of this crap. Let's move on. Glock is trending because now here's an event where you get completely two different reactions. And it's funny because Jimmy Das Hotep mentioned a 2A case. Some people are really either excited and or leery of the fact that, what the fuck? Wait a minute. God bless America. Hang on a second. I knew I shouldn't have done that. See, there we go. The world is good again. People are up in arms because Donald Trump apparently may have purchased a Glock yesterday. So I guess he was in a gun store, in a campaign stop, and they have this Glock it's the Trump edition Glock, right? It has like engraved whatever Trump whatever on it. Hello, Cool Frog. What up, brother? And so it's interesting the different reactions where, a lot of the people are right, like, oh, cool. Trump handles custom Trump 45 Glock at a Palmetto State Armory in Somerville, South Carolina. And here's a picture of the gun. You can see this here. It has the little Trump engraving on there and says Trump 45 on it, right? That's kind of cool. And, some people were like, oh yeah, Trump 2A, blah, blah, blah. And he's made some noise about possibly wanting to buy a Glock. Well, there are people who are saying, well, and I don't know, we're not 100% sure if he bought it or not, but that's what they said. Trump's own spokesperson is the person that tweeted out that Trump bought a Glock at this event. Then he had to delete it when people correctly pointed out that it's illegal for Donald John Trump to buy a firearm right now. Wasn't the fake press, you guys? Okay, whatever. So someone was like, for the record, President Trump did not buy a firearm. I was there. Move along, fake press. And that's what that person has responded. So people are left all up in, oh, he bought a Glock while he's under indictment because, Hunter Biden getting charged with that. Look, that Hunter Biden charge, we already established, at least in this show, this is my belief, that the Hunter Biden charges on his gun charge is probably going to either get thrown out or found unconstitutional. Because, in his case, he wasn't a convicted felon. Sure, you can't, your background check says you can't do it on drugs, but it's funny how many Democrats are defending Hunter Biden and his gun, right? Some aren't. Some are like, oh yeah, well he should go to trial with bullshit, knowing that this is the most bullshit charge on the planet. So anyway, so now they want to compare it to Donald Trump, has four charges against him, 2 federal, and they're like, oh, lock him up. Now it's interesting because the New York Times article, though, if you look at it, now I have to do I'll do my magic here with the New York Times. I can't, you can't read these articles. The New York Times article says he said he would like to buy one. Okay. Their headline is Donald Trump tells gun store he'd like to buy a Glock, raising legal questions. Now, that's interesting. That's very interesting, the way the New York Times wrote that. He'd like to buy a Glock, raising... Well, wait a minute. Wait, you can't say you'd like to buy a Glock? Officials have increasingly voiced concerns about threats of violence related... Now, and this is the sub-headline for this is just precious. Okay? The sub-headline's precious. Good morning, Selected Boy, by the way.
Yeah, boy.
The sub-headline is what got me when I saw this New York Times article. Officials have increasingly voiced concern about threats of violence related to the former president's trials as he faces charges that would make it illegal for a store to sell him a firearm. Okay, wait a minute. So you're saying that he can't say he'd like to buy a Glock? And that raises legal questions? I don't think so. Anyway, and here's the thing, the spokesman said that he bought a Glock, showing him at a gun shop, and said that he bought a Glock pistol. The post on X, formerly known as Twitter, included a video of Mr. Trump on the front runner for the Republican Party's nomination for the president, who's facing 4 criminal indictments. He looked over the dullish gold firearm. Really? That's an interesting description. You mean a brushed metal? They're saying dullish gold. Anyway, with a special Trump edition Glock that depicts his likeness that says Trump 45th. No, it says Trump. It says 2040. Okay, yeah, 45th. Anyway. So anyway, I find it hilarious. But so the people on the left are up in the arms. People on the right are like, oh, cool, Trump was holding the Glock. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know if Trump owns firearms or not. Did any judge say that he would have to relinquish his firearms up prior to trial? I haven't heard anything about that. So anyway, yeah, it's exactly. This is getting him so much street cred. It absolutely is amongst people who 2A people. I'm a 2A person. I don't even own any. Well, I do own one. I do own one rifle. I have my great grandfather's Springfield 4570 trapdoor. But it's a single shot rifle. I mean, you have to reload it every time you shoot it. I'm gonna go. My son-in-law is gonna take me deer hunting one of these days. I'm gonna try to. That's the only thing I want to. The only thing I don't use that gun for, the rifle for. Just because it was my great grandfather's. That'd be kind of cool to be able to hunt with a rifle that my great grandfather used. So anyway, all right, let's move on. What else is trending? Oh, clapper, not the clapper, or not a very active prostitute. Anyway, James Clapper's trending, and James Clapper's trending. I think just because of this particular clip, that's the only reason we'll play it here. Let's see. Let's pull this full screen though, so we can
on such a list.
Here,
again,
so James Clapper's trending because he was on This Is CNN yesterday and did an interview with this lovely young lady and seemed to be frightened that he might be going to jail if Trump becomes president again because, James Clapper lied multiple times under oath to Congress, and he's a despicable motherfucker. So anyway.
In a recent profile, General Milley raised the possibility that he thought if Trump was reelected, he would throw his opponents in jail. He said,
well, James Milley too, I got to tell you, James Milley, didn't he commit treason basically? I mean, and what was it when they were trying to get troop levels in Afghanistan? He lied about that, and he's lied about to the president. He, basically testified that he disobeyed orders and gave interviews. Now, I don't know that would they throw him in jail actually or not? I don't know, but for whatever reason, the current occupier of the office with his handlers seem to like Milley. I don't know why. Maybe because he, maybe because he wants to do pronouns in all the armed forces, whatever. But anyway, here we go.
Said that he would be at the top of the list. Do you think that that's a real concern? And are you concerned that you could be on Trump's enemies list?
Well, of course, because you're an asshole and you're a lying, cheating bastard.
Oh, sure. I think there are probably a lot of people that are potentially on such a list.
You mean the ones that lied under oath, like you and Brennan and all those other fuckers?
And again, that's reprehensible. I think General Milley's comment was he didn't think President Trump would be reelected. Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Oh.
So yeah, that's a real concern for
you,
many of us.
for you, for many of us, yes, because you lied. You lied under oath, and you want to put. You always bitch about Trump lying, and then you've lied, motherfucker. All right, moving on. Other things in the news: a white woman, a white woman. This has got people up in arms. A white woman. You ever get nervous when I start a sentence that way? It's not like I've done that very often, but a white woman has people upset. No, it's not Joy Behar. And no, it's not Hillary Clinton. No, this white woman is from Zimbabwe. And people are saying that what has happened to this white woman is racist. No, not this. This one's not a Karen. This is Miss. Okay, white woman wins Miss Zimbabwe in Miss Universe pageant, and Americans are claiming it's racist. Now, so the Miss Universe pageant, the one that the guy with the funny hair used to own, and I guess he sold it or whatever. They took it away from him, whatever. Has his pageant in Zimbabwe. Now, this is a Zimbabwe pageant to qualify for the Miss Universe pageant. It is a Zimbabwe pageant run by people from Zimbabwe. And I'm just trying to see how many times I can say Zimbabwe in the next 30 seconds. Zimbabwe. On September 16th, Brooke Jackson, 21, won the Miss Universe Zimbabwe pageant, causing some controversy over the fact that she is a white woman.
You're fucking white.
No, I said white woman. In a post on Instagram, Jackson celebrated her victory. She said, "I have gained this crown for our beautiful country." She loves the country and love and to serve our people, to represent Zimbabwe internationally and show the world the uniqueness of Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans. That sounds like something that Elmer Fudd would say. And the Zimbabweans. I want to be an example of grace, understanding, and inspiration to the youth of Zimbabwe to instill the spirit of Ubuntu and know that together we are strong and anything in life is possible. So first of all, they're going to call it racist just for saying Ubuntu. That's not a white woman language. Now, this is the first time in 22 years that Zimbabwe will be sending someone to compete in the Miss Universe pageant on November 18th. When the win was announced online, however, many aired their displeasure with Jackson being the winner. One account of that is a self-proclaimed Southern girl is now set to private, and the news is extremely tragic. She said the news is extremely tragic and disappointing, according to the Atlanta Black Star. So this is it. This is the president of the Miss Universe organization. Now tell me, why the fuck would I care about this organization, who they pick? If you understand the world, you understand how the system runs. That's not my pick. That's not my Miss Zimbabwe. Leave the fuck alone with the whatever. So she's very upset. And the shot is still tragic though. All those beautiful melanated women, and you're telling me the European woman won the contest for black people. Is the contest for black people or is it for Zimbabwe? Because there's white people in Zimbabwe. Now, apparently these were some of the top 12 contestants, all very beautiful young ladies. I've got to say, very lovely young ladies. On Wednesday, Brooke posted the picture of one of her outfits for the pageant and said it represents the diversity of Zimbabwe. Yeah, I'm sure Zimbabwe is still super diverse. Hello, Reaction Puerto Rico. I said Selected Boy, didn't I? I said hi to Selected Boy. Zimbabweans are so talented. This work of art says 1,000 words about our beautiful nation. Now, look, Okay, I have to admit, while she is an attractive young lady, whatever, she looks a little ridiculous in this. This does not. It's because that's a. I'm sorry. This looks. Yes, Aaron, exactly. At least she's actually a woman. That's a good point. The costume is a celebration of diversity in the human race. The recycled zebra skin and porcupine quill shows the beautiful art created by black and white stripes, the representation of unity amongst people. The color of our skin should not define a person or who each person chooses to associate with together, blah, 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 blah. So I'm sure there's a lot of black women and white liberal, people very upset about Miss Zimbabwe. As far as I'm concerned,
Your life makes me sad.
anyway, moving on. Newsom is trending. Gavin Newsom. And part of the reason he's there's a lot of reasons he's trending. Gavin Newsom, California, right? I told you the other day, he vetoed a bill in California, AB 957, which would have allowed judges to remove custody of children from parents who don't affirm their child's gender identity, right? They had this bill, went through the whole, in the legislature there. They call it, what do they call it? They don't call it the legislature there. California Assembly. And that bill passed, and you would think it's California. It's Gavin Newsom. He's going to sign this shit, right? But he vetoed it, right? He vetoed the bill. And why on earth, if he's been so friendly to all these LGBTQ bills that have come through, and there's some crazy ones, I got to tell you, that he would veto this one? Well, Gavin Newsom is going to probably try to run for president when Joe Biden gets kicked out of the paint, right? So he wants to be able to say, oh, no, I'm not a crazy-ass Californian who signs bills for all these stupid-ass laws that I've signed in the past. I'm now a moderate, right? And the California Assembly will probably, override the veto anyway. But he can now say, well, I don't pass every crazy thing that comes across my desk in California. See, I didn't sign this bill. Now they overrode my bill, but my veto, but that's okay. By the way, good morning to Oren Doomhammer OFC. My God, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. Also, Tales of Gore's in the house. Nice to see you. So, so he's trending, but also probably the bigger reason he's trending is because, and for whatever reason, his counterpart is not trending, but that's okay. Because he is going to be debating Ron DeSantis on November 30th. Now, this is interesting because, Ron DeSantis is the number 2 behind Trump in the polls for the Republican nomination. Gavin Newsom's not even running, but they've been having this little feud about California versus Florida for months and months now because Gavin Newsom is constantly taking shots at Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis, kind of countered by doing a video from, the shithole known as San Francisco. And so now they're going to go have a little debate. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Republican presidential candidate Florida's Ron DeSantis will debate each other on November 30th. Why? Who the hell knows? You'd think DeSantis would concentrate on winning the primary, but the debate, which will air on Fox during Hannity's 9 p.m. primetime, they're going to do it on Hannity too. And Gavin Newsom, here, let me just give one little smidgen of respect for Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's not afraid to go into the fire. He'll go on Fox. He'll go on any show. He'll go on Fox News. I don't know if he ever went on Tucker though, but he did go. He's been on Hannity before, and he'll go to places where he's not wanted. Hello, Brandon Narlo. By the way, welcome. I like DeSantis, but he has made some not so good moves with this campaign. Yeah, he has. That's unfortunate, but I think he's if something happens, he's a good alternative to Trump. I think so. But we'll see. He's probably should have waited to 28, as far as I'm concerned. But I do like DeSantis. Anyway. The debate, which will air on Fox Hannity's 9 p.m. primetime program, will take place on November 30th. The network announced the event will run 90 minutes and take place at a location that has still yet to be determined, but will be in Georgia. It'll be in Georgia. Georgia the whole day through. In a statement issued through the network, Hannity said he's looking forward to providing viewers with an informative debate about everyday issues and governing philosophies that impact the lives of everyday Americans. So, and there's a little scene, a little preview clip there. You can read in, put in the, or read when you see the video. By the way, a reminder, if you're new here and or you don't pay attention that much, listen to what I'm saying this time. Every day of this show, everything that I put on the screen, every video, every tweet, every article, at the end of the show, during the outro, I drop a link that has every single link. It's called a one-tab link. You click one link and everything will be listed that we've gone through. If you want to find something, like if you're, let's say you're a YouTuber or a blogger or some shit like that, and you want to go, well, where was that story? All you got to do, click the link. It'll be in the I'll put it in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube, and I'll add it to the description of both shows on the internet, the tubes. You know what I mean? And so there you go. I do that every day. Next, let's see. Gavin Newsom, Acosta is trending. Everyone's favorite. This is CNN. Everyone's favorite reporter on the planet, the most ethical and even-handed, non-biased reporter on the planet is he's trending. Jim Acosta. Everyone loves some Jim Acosta. And now this is another one of those things where you see a video, right? You see a video on the app formerly known as Twitter. Catherine, what's up? 2920. Welcome. Nice to have you back. That's over on Rumble. You see a video and you see both people on the left and the right using the same video with wildly different interpretations. It's really wild. And this is an Acosta video that a lot of people are talking about. So I'm going to show you the clip, and then I'm going to read you a couple different interpretations that are just, I mean, you're like, huh? What? Now, I'm going to read you let's see the clip first. Let's see the clip. There's the video. Here's the clip. And this is the clip. Listen to this. He's interviewing, I don't know. They're talking about the so-called looming shutdown, which I say, hey, the more they shut down the government, the less money of ours they're spending. Or, excuse me, it's the less of China's money they're spending because they're borrowing and all. But here's Acosta interviewing someone about the shutdown, and they get into a little spat about the border. Now listen carefully.
It just sounds like you're throwing rhetoric around with no basis in fact.
No, you can. Have you been to the border?
Of course I have.
Oh, see, because the guy here says, about how bad it is at the border. Okay, that's how this little segment came about. Have you been to the border? He said yes. I'll back it up.
Have you been to the border?
Of course I have.
And what do you see there,
you
Jim?
See what's going on? The rapes. It's open. I mean, nobody can deny that.
The border is,
and they've got it's a crisis. Where?
I'll ask the question, sir. And the border is not open. That is something that is peddled as a talking point.
Really?
It's not true.
Really?
They're offensive.
Wait, really? 2,400 versus 8,500 a day. By the way, we have more news about this. I'll talk to you about that when we get to the Joseph Raheem Biden.
There are walls. There are Border Patrol agents who work on the border.
Oh, my God.
The 5+ million that have gotten into this
5
country
million
illegally is not a figment of our imagination. Ask the Border Patrol agents. Ask anybody down there. They're frustrated.
But I guess I haven't. You have not been able to answer my question as to how you effectively do border enforcement if you're shutting down the government. But I guess we're not going to get an answer to that question.
It can't be any worse than it is now, Jim. It's just okay. So that's the clip, right? That's the clip. Now, let's look at how different people spin this. So this person who I pulled the clip from, the unimaginable gall of Jim Acosta to peddle outright lies in an attempt to gaslight Americans is repulsive. Come on down to Arizona, you pompous, phony biatch. Okay, I added that in. Our Border Patrol will gladly take you to the front lines for a little tour. Bring your camera crew. Good morning, Chicago Mike. What's up, brother? Now, that's one. Now, Ed Krasenstein, you know, I might have to do my daily Krasenstein. The same clip, the exact same clip, right? And listen to, here's what Ed Krasenstein says. Is Ralph Norman just peddling rhetoric to Jim Acosta? Norman seems to imply that Democrats want more people to cross the border so that they can have more fake votes in the election. Okay, fucker. That's not the biggest concern. Ask the mayor of New York City. Ask the mayor of Chicago. Ask the mayor of Los Angeles. Ask the mayor of Denver. Ask the mayor of Atlanta. Ask the mayor of Orlando. Ask any mayor, and especially ask the governor and any mayor in the state of Texas, Arizona, or New Mexico. And even California. Right? What are you talking about? So anyway, and then he's like, he claims that we have opened our borders to every country. Now listen, this is an Ed Krasenstein way. He'll lie and he'll try to gaslight you by changing what was said. He claims that we have opened our borders to every country, and we have never done that before. Acosta called him out for what he said. What are your thoughts? Do you believe? Yeah, Norman's right. People, the tourism industry into Mexico and Panama and all these southern, south of the border countries in Central and South America, where people fly to those countries so they can cross our border illegally, is absolutely correct. Anyone in the world right now can fly to Mexico and join a caravan and get across our border illegally and then get a free cell phone and no ankle bracelet and say, well, just come back for your asylum trial or your asylum hearing. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, thank you, Tireless Ed Response the show. Appreciate you. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, 223. By the way, those little notification things, if you go into the description of this video, I have a list of different ones for different dollar amounts. If you want to see one of those other ones, you know, there's some pretty cool ones in there. You can do that. But anyway, thank you, Charles. Small bullet, 223, who says, to be black, you must be an American of African descent. If being black is just skin pigmentation thing, it means that Indians in India are black people. And even though that means I don't get a few paychecks on time, I am all for the shutdown. FTG, Joe Biden. Yes, thank you, Tyre Alexander. Damn right. And yeah, Tyre works for the TSA. Don't get mad at Tyre. It's just a job. It's how he makes his money. You're good. He's a good dude. All right. So yeah. Yeah. Zimbabweans are black. Black is like America. It's the, you know, American black people who descended of slaves and all that shit. That's kind of really what black means here. It just, whether or not she's a white woman in Zimbabwe, I don't care. Look, I bet you all the judges in Zimbabwe were black. I bet you they were. I don't know. I'm going to guess that they might have been. Usually they get celebrities and shit. Anyway. So anyway, Acosta, yeah, but the different interpretations. So I can go through a couple more. Suburban black man. He's a conservative. Representative Ralph Norman to CNN's Jim Acosta. Have you been to the border? Have you seen what's going on? The rapes, the 5 million plus that have gotten into this country illegally is not a figment of your imagination. Damn right. Laura Logan. Acosta is a total moron. He has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. I should introduce him to some of the girls who have been trafficked over that border so he can find out what it's like to be raped over it. Oh my God. I probably shouldn't even have read that. But there are other people. Now here's ACN. This is, they tend to be on the left. Acosta. Government employees, members of the military, and members of the Border Patrol won't be getting paychecks. You okay with that? They get back pay. Are you going to get paid? Yes, I didn't write the Constitution. So that's what they chose to take out of that exchange. And so he's, you know, Costa's look, I think Costa writes propaganda for the DNC. Not just a reporter. He writes propaganda for the DNC. Moving on. Next. What else we got? Biden. Okay, let's get into Biden. Not literally. Ew. So Joseph Raheem Biden has been very prominent in the news in the last couple of days, and so I have several little tidbits about why. But here's the trend. Excuse me. It just makes my day. There was about a 3-week period where I couldn't drink coffee after my surgery, or at least I thought I couldn't. and it was tormentous. Is that a word? I was being tormented by the fact that I couldn't drink coffee. All right, Joseph Raheem Biden's trending, which is not unusual. Him and Trump trend all the time. But there's a couple things, and I'll put the trending link here. But let's go to the ones that caught my eye about Joe Biden. First of all, the administrator is facing heat for outsourcing climate policy to a foreign NGO linked to dark money. Oh no, I don't think I have any Hunter Biden stories. I'm little Hunter Biden burnout right now. So, but in fact, most of the stories were all about the president himself today. So they're facing heat because they outsourced climate policy. Now, remember, Biden's on this big, we're going to make everything in America. We're going to buy American. We're going to support American unions. We're going to do this in America. You know, because he whispers like an idiot. The Biden administration is facing criticism for its decision to outsource a key part of its climate agenda to a foreign nonprofit tied to a behemoth left-wing dark money network. Oh, shocker. President Biden announced late last year during a speech at a global climate summit that his White House would issue requirements for federal contractors to disclose their greenhouse gas emissions, share climate-related financial risk, and set emissions reduction targets. Because, you know, climate. The regulations, though, will leverage criteria set by the Science Based Targets Initiative, also known as SBTI. It almost sounds like one of those sex diseases. Based group linked to left-wing dark money funding streams. The federal government, now this is a quote by a Republican from California, the federal government should not be in the business of picking winners and losers, said House Science, Space, and Technology Investigation and Oversight Committee Chairman Jay Obernolte from California during a hearing last week. However, that is exactly the case in this instance. The choice of SBTI does not only concern this committee, is not the only concern this committee has with this proposed rule. Because of its poor drafting, it has multiple practical, financial, and national security issues. He continued, for instance, ceding this authority to a foreign entity means that we cannot verify that SBTI processes are based in sound science. Science! Reply to me with science. We will have very little oversight of the decisions being made. Yes, so it's a foreign company. According to Obernolte, the White House failed to conduct a competitive selection process before choosing SBTI to assess federal contractors' emission targets under the proposal. Why is a foreign company monitoring our emissions, whatever bullshit? No! Buy American, motherfuckers. So that's one of the articles. You can read the rest of that. Also, a new record by the Biden administration. Yes! The Biden administration has set a brand new record. Remember the other day when I said there was a new record? 10,000 people crossed our border illegally. It was a few days ago. Well, guess what? We've set a new record. Joe Biden now, this administration has a day where 11,000, not just 10,000, but 11,000 people have crossed our border illegally in the last 24 hours alone. The U.S. border was overrun by 11,000 illegal immigrants over the past 20 hours, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The surge in crossings over the last day is the highest in recent memory. Congratulations to the Biden administration. Holy shit. Late last Friday, the CBP announced that now we're up to 7.6 million illegal immigrants have entered the country since President Biden took office in January 2021. That was the Friday news dump from the CBP. Nearly 20 million illegals now reside in the... You know what's weird? Okay, let's talk about this 20 million number they peddle constantly. Do you know how long they've been saying that 20 million illegals reside in the country? They've been saying that the first time I ever heard that number was during the Reagan administration. Well, we have 20 million illegal immigrants in the nation. Well, and they always say it's 20 million. Well, wait a minute. If 7.6 million illegal immigrants have entered the country in the last 3 years, how come that number never goes up? That number never goes up. Do they leave and they come and they leave, or do they just find ways to stay? That's bullshit. It's got to be 50 million, which, here's my thing. I know that some of those people have been here for a very long time, live productive lives, probably pay taxes, but you know what? Probably, I'm going to guess a majority don't. And, the mayor of New York City's complaining about 10,000. And the mayor of Denver is complaining that, maybe 5,000 or 6,000 that have just showed up. And you have people in Texas, 7.6 million coming through our border. Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California. Mostly Texas. So imagine what the mayor of New York's bitching. The mayor of Chicago's bitching. What do you think it's like in Texas? Where they're coming through and the Biden administration says, oh, yep, we're going to process all of you. And I'm going to say it again. If you crossed water to cross our border in Mexico, that should be immediate. Bye, you're out. You're deported because you're not following international asylum rules. But how can they freaking say 20 million now reside in the U.S. when 7.6 million just came across in the last 3 years? Are you kidding me? And there's trains, people jumping on the top of trains in Venezuela. There's people, there's crazy. And, the only thing good about it is finally some of his own constituents, some of his own cheerleaders are saying, wait a minute, this is fucked up. And maybe, just maybe, some of these pissed off people in New York and Denver and Chicago and California and Albuquerque and, all over Texas, I think they're finally starting to see the light because Joe Biden's approval rating keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. Good. I really hope he is running for president in 2024. I predicted that he wouldn't be the nominee back before he was inaugurated because I didn't think he'd last through 4 years of his presidency. And I don't mean like he would die. They would find a way to get rid of him. And it seems like it's funny how the media just is allowing the drip of bad news for Joe Biden. Because normally they'd be trying to spin it like Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta's still trying to spin it, right? It's impossible to spin right now. So anyway, congratulations on the Biden administration on your new record. Woo! Actually, bunch of clowns. Next is, also, now here's another, there's a lot of bad news for the Biden administration. It's crazy. So this is, Josh Kroshar. I don't know really, his politics are sometimes ambiguous because sometimes he writes like a real lefty and sometimes he's just down the middle and occasionally he does pieces like rightish. So maybe he's just telling them like it is. But he's editor-in-chief of, what is this, something J Insider. He's done he writes for Axios and Fox News Radio. So it's kind of interesting. But this is a interesting little tidbit here. Oh, Cannibalistic Wizard, what's up, brother? How you doing? In the spring of 2014, senior Iranian foreign ministry officials initiated a quiet effort to bolster Tehran's image and positions on global security issues, particularly its nuclear program, by building ties with a network of influential overseas academics and researchers. They called it the Iran Experts Initiative. Now listen carefully. The officials, working under the moderate president of Hassan Rouhani, congratulated themselves on the impact of the initiatives. At least 3 of the people in the foreign ministry list were or became top aides. Robert Malley, the Biden administration's special envoy to Iran, who was placed on leave this June following a suspicion of a security clearance. Okay, and I'll post the article too. It'll be right here. Anyway, the communications revealed the access Rouhani's diplomats have had to Washington's and Europe's policy circles, particularly during the final years of the Obama administration, through this network. Khashoggi, the name I cannot pronounce, wrote again a week later on March 11th and said that he had gained support from the IEI from two young academics, Ariane Tabatabai and Dina Esfandiri, following the meeting with them in Prague. We three agreed. Here, let me expand this so I can read the whole freaking thing. Oh, shoot. No, I lost it. Oh, we agreed to be the core group of IEI. Tabatabai currently serves in the Pentagon as Chief of Staff for the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations, a position that requires a U.S. government security clearance. She previously served as a diplomat on Mali's Iran nuclear negotiating teams after Biden administration took office in 2021. So, in other words, the Biden administration and the Obama administration apparently have been facilitating some of this image building for Iran. What? The entire article is right here. You can read that. It's and you just have to click the little X to get rid of the extra stuff. But it's a fascinating article, and it's just like, oh, are these people foreign agents? What the hell? Anyway, so that's another thing. And now also this. This is, we have to have the gaffe of the day, which we don't, it's not actually a feature of the show, but apparently Biden fumbles the acronym during a Pacific Islands Forum speech. Now listen, President Biden botched a simple acronym while speaking to leaders from the South Pacific Islands on Monday in his latest verbal blunder. Let's just listen to the blunder first, because it's a Bidenism. You're used to Bidenisms, right? Make sure you got the volume up on this one. Yeah, I do. Okay, here we go.
Strong growth begins with a strong infrastructure. So today I'm pleased to announce we're working with Congress to invest $40 billion in our Pacific Islands Infrastructure Initiative. We call it the PI anyway. It doesn't matter what we call it, but that's what it is. I was going to get back to acronyms, and I'm going to stand not doing that. Including investments in
whatever it is. I'm just reading the script that the handlers gave me. Whatever this is, I don't care. Anyway, so he was meeting with all these Pacific Island leaders, right? He got stumped. He was trying to dictate the abbreviation for his administration's Pacific Island Infrastructure Initiative at the White House. Now, look, it's the PIII, as in pie, I guess. Anyway, and he's suffered a speech. Now, this article gives him a little bit of cover though, because they add down here, Biden suffered a speech impediment as a child and has been open about his lifelong challenges of overcoming a stutter. Yeah, his brain stutters. However, those with a critical eye on the oldest ever U.S. president have tied his recent gaffes to his increased age. No, it's not because of his increased age. It's because of his declining abilities in his increased age. Not every old person has declined abilities, but he certainly is showing the telltale signs of dementia and sundowning. Okay, let's not get it twisted, because I don't agree. Look, and if some people want to vote for him, they should be able to. It has nothing to do with his age, but certainly should have something to do with his abilities. Yeah, it's a speech impediment that did not exist before 2015. Well, yeah, he certainly got around it for at least 45 years in Congress. You know what I mean? Anyway, so they gave him a tiny bit. Now, also Biden. Also, now here's another one. Someone mentioned Biden falling and tripping and shit like that. Well, apparently this is Axios. Now, Axios is an interesting publication, because they kind of get people from a lot of different perspectives. Mostly it's lefties, but not always. And this one's interesting because I don't know if Alex Thompson, what his politics are. I don't really care. Scoop, Biden's team don't let him trip mission. and it's they really got into this. President Biden and his campaign are working on a critical project for his re-election bid. Make sure he doesn't trip and fall on his fucking face. Okay, I alliterated and not only alliterated, I embellished, I should say, not illiterate. I embellished on the actual thing. Make sure he doesn't trip on his fucking face. Driving the news as voters express deep concerns about the 80-year-old president's age. No! And fitness for office? Yes! Biden's team is taking extra steps to prevent him from stumbling in public, as he did in June when he tripped over sandbags at the Air Force Academy. Now, again, it's not about his age. The reason they keep saying age, and because they want to be able to take Trump out for the same reason. But Trump's abilities are a little different than Biden's abilities. And I don't know, is Trump showing signs of sometimes being forgetful or whatever because of his age? I don't know. I don't think so. Now, they can certainly talk about verbal gaffes that Trump does too, but they're nothing like Biden's. Okay, it's a whole different world. You know, Trump just blurts out whatever comes to his mind. Biden's lacking in the mind department. He just reads what they tell him to read. Anyway, with a physical therapist, Biden is doing exercises to improve his balance as far back as November 2021. Wow, they're now letting that out. See, look, again, Axios is doing what I've seen in the news lately. Have any of you noticed this? How all of a sudden in the last 6 to 8 months, the news is kind of half-heartedly mentioning all these little problems that Biden's having, like that you never heard when he was running for president, you never heard in the first few years of his presidency, even though it was obvious he was having those problems then too, because they were too busy hiding him during the election campaign. But now places like Axios and even the New York Times, they're questioning him, and they're questioning the bad things that he's done and the shady shit that he's done. And they're allowing the little articles are coming out in the big papers now, the big players who do journalism, so to speak. Still, his stumble in June, since his stumble in June, he has been wearing tennis shoes more often to avoid slipping and using the short stairs on Air Force One, entering the plane on the lower deck than before. Maybe they should get him a short bus too. Why it matters, Democrats, including some in the administration, are terrified that Biden will have a bad fall. And some of the Democrats are hoping he'll have a bad fall, if you know what I'm saying. With the nightmare scenario of it happening in the weeks before the November 2024 election. Some senior Democrats privately have been frustrated with Biden's advance team for months, citing the sandbag incident and nothing that the president often appears to not know which direction to go after he speaks at the podium. Hey, they probably told him, but he forgets in the middle of the speech. He's too busy reading the teleprompter what people wrote for him and calling on reporters. They gave him a list to report on, to call on. Blue-eyed Scream, what's up? Anyway, often without context, Republicans have used video clips of Biden looking confused about where to go after speeches to raise further questions about his age. Yes, see, the Republicans have pounced. Biden's balance difficulties are likely a result of what his physician has diagnosed as a combination of significant spinal arthritis and mild post-fracture foot arthritis. Wow, we've never heard that from his physicals, have we? Did those physicals get out in the news that he was having problems with his spinal arthritis and mild post-fracture foot arthritis? I've never heard that before. Biden works out many mornings with a physical therapist, Drew Contreras, who also worked with former President Obama. Yeah, not for the same reasons. Biden's doctor has recommended exercises for balance, which he called proprioceptive maintenance maneuvers. As in old fuckers exercises. What maneuvers entail is what the maneuvers entail are unclear. I have never heard the term proprioceptive maintenance maneuvers. It's not a clinical term of standard use, said Professor James Gordon, Associate Dean and Chair of the Division of Biokinesiology and Physical Therapy at the University of Southern California. So they're making up terms for this shit. They're making it up. As for more detail, White House spokesman Andrew Bates told Axios, this isn't new. It was proactively and transparently disclosed in a 2021 report from the president's doctor and again this year. Wow. Hear any reporting on that? The article fits the unfortunate pattern of media attempting to sensationalize something that has long been public, but rather than covering the president's very real achievements for hardworking Americans. Oh my God. Do all of the people have the same talking points in this administration? He's doing his best for the American people. Be very clear. He's working hard for the American people as opposed to those MAGA Republicans, extremists, or whatever they say. Recent polls have shown Biden's age is among voters' chief concerns about him. No, his mental capacity is our most chief concern about him. Anyway, and then they go into a bunch of other stuff, and then they go into Trump's legal issues because you can't have anything about Biden without mentioning Donald Trump because, it's the Krasenstein School of Journalism where, well, what about Trump? Well, what about Trump's kids? Well, what about Trump's wife? Well, what about Trump's money? What about Trump's business? What about them this? What about Trump that? Fuck you, motherfuckers. All right, and then, I'm going to play this one without comment, and I'm going to listen to your reactions in the chat because Latrine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, this is one of her statements.
Why this president has been so zeroed in, so laser focused on lowering costs for Americans, and we've done that. And a lot of the policies that the president has put forward are indeed popular.
Sure.
I mean, Bidenomics has worked so well that you have Republicans in their own districts, in their own states, taking credit for things that the president pushed forward, policies that the president has pushed forward, legislation that they didn't even vote for. If you think about the American Inflation Reduction Act.
They've lowered costs for Americans. Everything's lower.
That it's
at 3%, the 3.5% inflation. That's still higher than any year in the Trump administration. Yes, that is great. And the total of 17% over the 3 years has been fantastic. We've lowered the cost for the American people. The Republicans even love us. Everything is awesome. Everything. I don't know the rest of that song. I just know that's the only line for that song I know. Everything is awesome. They're so fucking delusional. It's amazing. I mean, she's a gaslighting queen. Oh, wait. Now, I said there was no. Wait a minute. I'm going to skip. Is that it? Is that it for that? For Biden? Okay. Oh, and then. What's this? I'll come back to that. What happened to, here we go. Now, this is fantastic. This is a Washington Post article that Jennifer Rubin, y'all know who Jennifer Rubin is? Brett Hayes, what's up? Trivia Liberty, what's up? Nice to have you here. If you know who Jennifer Rubin is, she's the conservative at the Washington Post. And she tweeted this. Now I am right now. Okay, so here's the thing. Rotten Corpus Low. So everything is cool when you're part of the team. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so Jennifer Rubin is highlighting what's kind of a push right now, and there's another article about this in the links today. But you notice how Democrats are really and anti-Trump people constantly talking about democracy, right? Oh, democracy is in danger if Trump gets elected. Well, first of all, the only way Trump can get elected if he wins an election in our representative republic that through the way that we do things in the United States. So that would kind of be a form of democracy, and each state has its own little election about whether or not they're going to send delegates and whatever that would be how our democracy works in this representative republic, because it's not really a democracy, but whatever. So anyway, I saw this. I haven't even read the article. Maybe I'll open that article up too. Although I hate the fucking Washington. It's an opinion piece by Max Boot. Now, if you're not familiar with Max Boot, oh boy, in some ways you're lucky. But is an editorial that Jennifer Rubin, the conservative on the Washington Post. Oh, I did it again. It's funny both times I said it. Jennifer Rubin tweeted this article from the Washington Post. If you want to save democracy in 2024, Biden is the only viable choice. The voice of sanity. Really? Really? So here's the article she's talking about. It's an editorial by Max Boot. Now, when she says, and what did she say? What did she say? She said the only viable choice, the voice of sanity. So maybe she meant because none of the other Democrats that could possibly replace Biden could get elected. Kamala Harris certainly couldn't. She couldn't beat Trump. She couldn't beat I don't think she could beat anyone in the Republican field. Now, are there other Democrats out there in the wings? Like Gavin Newsom, for example. Could he smarmy prick his way through the election and maybe win? Yeah, probably. But I don't think he'll bring a whole lot of, certainly it's not like he can, it's not like he'd be delivering California for the Democrats because he already has California. But here's what they're saying, that replacing Biden would be foolish because Kamala Harris can't replace Trump. Now, why he went with Kamala Harris, and I bet you he'll be called racist for that. In fact, I think that is a little... yes, thank you. It is. The fake African-American Kamala Harris. She's not black. She's not black from black people's perspective. She's Indian, and her father from Jamaica is not ADOS, American descendant of slaves. Okay? She's not black. She went to a HBCU and dances around and does the step and shit like, black people. But she's not black, but some black women love her. I don't know why. Anyway, so here's I'm just going to give you the lead. It's so dripping with condescension for the American people. I fear for America's future and hence the world's future. More so now than ever. You mean the world that's mostly not democracies, or a lot of countries are not democracies? Jennifer Rubin. I had relaxed a bit after the last two national elections, which had seemed to signal a return to normalcy. Donald Trump was decisively defeated in 2020 and in 2022. Most of his fellow election deniers also lost in their bids to take over election machinery of swing states. Now, that's a fascinating thing because, there's some court cases going on right now that are now kind of looking at some of that stuff that the courts never looked at before in some of those states. Now, I'm not saying it's changing anything. It's not going to change anything. We have a president that was elected in our system and entrenched until the next January 21st or January 20th, 2025. But there's little tidbits here and there coming out about some of the shenanigans that no one wanted to talk about in 2020. But anyway, that's not that important. So he says, but now, he continues, but now we're back in crazy town. Trump is almost certain the Republican nominee in 2024. And if current polls are to be believed, he has an excellent chance of winning the presidency again. Yeah, the Washington Post, we talked about this yesterday. They discounted their own poll that said he was up 10 over Biden. Has an excellent chance of winning the presidency again, despite his two impeachments, his incitement of insurrection. That wasn't. And the 91 felony counts he currently faces in 4 criminal cases. A year ago, I naively imagined that Trump would be politically hurt by being indicted. Once again, I either overestimated the American public. You mean you underestimated the ability to see through the bullshit, or underestimated Trump? Yeah, you did. All of you underestimated him for 2016? If anything, the criminal cases have seemed to help him politically. He leads all his Republican challengers by a very wide margin. In the 538 polling average, he is at nearly 56% among Republican voters. Even more disturbing, this hurts him so bad. Trump is running neck and neck with President Biden in general election matchups. That means, given the Republican advantage in the Electoral College, that he is probably ahead in the electoral count. Somehow, most voters have decided that Biden is too old for the presidency. No! Stop lying. This has nothing to do with his age. It has to do with his performance and his abilities. His performance as president of the United States has been complete caca. Anyway. But Trump, who is only 3 years younger and infinitely less cogent, is it's P-I-I-I. It's 4 letters. 3 of them are the same fucking letter. Whatever, whatever we call it doesn't matter. The P-I-I-I. P and then I 3 times. How fucking hard is that, Joe Biden? But yes, Trump is infinitely less cogent. This prospect of another Trump term is the greatest foreseeable disaster that can befall the United States and the world. Trump is likely to be 10 times more dangerous this time. Yeah, well, is anyone going to fuck with him then? Is anyone else in the world going to fuck with him if he's more dangerous? Kim Jong-un, Putin, Xi, any of these other fuckers, the Pakistanis, the terrorists, whatever. You think they're going to fuck with Donald Trump? See, that's why. So some of you people new here, my position is Donald Trump is a jackass. He's an absolute jackass. And he's the jackass that we need to be the president. Sometimes you need a jackass, and he's perfect. Okay? I was not a Trump train guy in 2016. I didn't vote for either he or that crazy lady with the computer in her bathroom. Okay? I voted for a giant rock because I thought we needed the sweet meteor death to take out the entire civilization and start over. But we got Donald Trump, and I thought he did a pretty damn good job. So I voted for him the second time. And if he's the nominee in 2024, I will vote for him again over Joseph, Raheem, Sundowner Biden. Sponge braid shit pants. Okay? Anyway. We can only speculate that this will mean what this will mean, but the likelihood is that Trump will cut off aid to Ukraine. Good. See, Max Boot is one of those war pig guys. He'd never seen a war he didn't like and whatever. He thinks we should overtake the entire world militarily and pretend we didn't, and nation build and all that other bullshit. That's Max Boot. He's a war hawk. He's a war pig. You ever know that song by Ozzy Osbourne, War Pigs? That's songs about Max Boot. Anyway, pull out of NATO. What's the purpose of NATO? I mean, because the purpose of NATO is okay. Look, NATO's probably a good thing in a way, but now we're just expanding it to expand it. And we're expanding, Black Sabbath, that's right, it's War Pigs. The purpose of NATO, which it said we weren't going to keep expanding it closer and closer to Russia, well, the Soviet Union, to Russia, right? But now we keep doing it. And now we have more NATO countries that border Russia. The purpose of NATO was to deter the Soviet Union. Where's the Soviet Union these days? So maybe the purpose of NATO now is to deter an alliance between like Russia and China, whatever. But if he moved NATO, or look, Donald Trump got NATO to at least pledge the other countries NATO, not us, because we've always been paying more than our fair share of NATO. But he got other countries to step it up a little bit. Did he pull out of NATO then? No, he got them to step it up and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be carrying the burden. Maybe we shouldn't be the police of the world. Maybe we shouldn't be the ones fighting everywhere or supplying all the fucking shit to Ukraine. Anyway, I don't care. Eviscerate the civil service and the military as top ranks. Why? What are you talking about? No, not the military. Trump's military, likes the military. But boy, do we have a big-ass bureaucracy that could be pared down to about a third of what it is now. Yeah, that's civil service. Is that what he's talking about when he says civil service? I bet he means the bureaucracy. And appoint an attorney general who prosecute his enemies. For a start, he was eager to do all these things his first term, but was dissuaded or blocked by the deep state. Oh, he admits there's a deep state. He's unlikely allowed to let that happen again. Good. Let's clean some house, baby. Let's go in and clean a little bit of house and pare this down so we're not constantly running our government on borrowed money, or printed money, I should say. Because those, some of those countries right now are conspiring to fuck with our currency. I'm not really excited about that prospect. All right, I can't read this anymore. The point here is, in an idea, here's what he's touting Biden's achievements, which the American people ain't feeling. Okay, he spends the rest of this intro touting Biden and why he would be the best candidate there. No one could replace him. I disagree. I think if Gavin Newsom, if Biden got out, I think there's a couple of Democrats that probably, first of all, nobody wants Kamala Harris. Nobody wanted her last time. Nobody wanted Kamala Harris. She was out before the Iowa fucking primaries. She ain't it. Okay. It's Gavin Newsom's a possibility. Buttigieg, why, I don't know. People like him for some reason. There's other Democrats who could probably fill in the blank, which and that's a very appropriate term when I'm considering Joe Biden. Definitely filling in the blank. But holy shit, I don't know. Did he really? Now, we never did find out if he shat in front of the Pope. I don't know if that was that a true story? Was that ever confirmed? Don't care. Don't want to know. Don't even tell me. All right. Enough about Joe Biden. Let's talk about his son. Just as a brief. This is just breaking news. I'm not going to read the story, but I have the article here if you want to check it out. Hunter Biden. This is breaking this morning. Hunter Biden has filed that lawsuit against Rudy Giuliani on Tuesday, accusing the former Trump attorney of computer fraud over his role in obtaining and sharing the alleged contents of the infamous laptop purportedly belonging to the president's son. Purportedly? What do you mean purportedly? What the actual fuck are you talking about? They confirmed it was his. He's confirmed it was his. But they're claiming that basically it's a popular way to go after Giuliani and anyone named Trump and Trump supporters and shit. He filed a lawsuit against Giuliani, accused him of the same thing. The suit adds to a growing body of litigation Hunter Biden has brought against alleged purveyors of his personal data, a trove that includes embarrassing photos and videos that have become ubiquitous in conservative new media. Well, you know what? Don't leave that shit at the computer store. But what they're claiming now, they're claiming that Giuliani and his people got this information through hacking, through illegally obtaining the data, and claiming that this computer shop thing never happened, even though the computer shop guy is the one who gave it to the FBI. Same computer shop guy is the one who gave it to the FBI. The FBI's confirmed everything in it. The pictures are obviously of Hunter Biden doing blow and all this other shit. And you know what? Sorry, dude. Be more careful with your shit. I don't think this is going anywhere. I really don't. They're going to try. He filed in the suit in a California federal court where they're seeking a jury trial to determine damages. And then Giuliani and Costello did not immediately comment on the lawsuit. It's, I don't know, maybe because he's trying to get a jury trial in California. I don't know. He also is facing felony gun charges. Special counsel Dave Weiss has suggested his office might bring additional criminal tax charges. No, because the statute of limitations is up on that shit. I guarantee you they're not doing it. But the administration, the Justice Department, they're not going to go after Hunter Biden anymore. But also, and then Giuliani has some lawsuits against him, whatever. But anyway, enough about him. I just did another fucking Bidenism. All right. I just thought this is funny, and this is an article that I saw this morning. Again, it's the app formerly known as Twitter Tuesday. Rich white communities most likely to oppose wind farms, study finds. Oh, really? So the communities that want wind farms don't want wind farms. I'm not. I love how they had to put the word white in there because, you know, I'm pretty sure the people in Barack Obama's neighborhood don't want the wind farms in their neighborhood either over there on Martha's Vineyard, right? Am I right? Anybody? Okay. I just think it's funny. They've always constantly fucking with white people. But I would say rich neighborhoods. Do you think Jay-Z wants a wind farm in his neighborhood? They could have taken out the word white there. Rich communities most likely oppose wind farms, except they're the ones who want them the most because they're the ones who are in control of our world. They're all more likely to be members of the WEF and shit. What else we got? I got a bunch more. So I'm not going to go through the rest of my articles. I'll give you some headlines and we'll just laugh. So the FBI has a 50% rate. This is news in the Daily Caller. A 50% rate of getting speech censored from the internet, according to a court filing. Wow. The FBI is successful at getting speech censored from the internet 50% of the time, the Department of Justice said in a September court filing as part of an ongoing free speech lawsuit. DOJ Solicitor General Elizabeth Pregelar said it in a September court filing. The FBI successfully convinces social media platforms to remove online speech at a 50% rate. Prelogar was arguing in support of the Biden administration's request for the Supreme Court to extend its stay on a federal injunction blocking the federal government from encouraging platforms to censor content online. So they got busted. In the court said, no, you cannot do this shit anymore. And they're arguing that they should be able to do it. And they have been censoring people in the United States of America. Hello. That's not the government's purview. Fuck you. Get off my internet. All right. Also in the Daily Caller, Bob Menendez, the senator who was taking bribes. Apparently his daughter has taken the weekend off from hosting her MSNBC show. Democrat New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez's daughter, Alicia, took the weekend off from her MSNBC weekend program just 2 days following her father's indictment. Menendez not appear on her weekly show, America Voices with Alicia Mendez, which airs every Saturday and Sunday at 6 p.m. So I guess she's basically home taking care of dad. Who cares? I didn't even put that on the screen, did I? Well, it doesn't matter. Also in the Daily Caller, Rumble. For those of you who are watching me on Rumble, this is news. We already knew that the UK was trying to get Rumble to ban Russell Brand from their platform, and they said, fuck off. Well, now some major brands are pulling ads from Rumble after the platform refuses to censor Brand over sexual assault allegations. Major brands pulled ads from Rumble following the video platform's refusal to censor or demonetize actor and podcast host Russell Brand over a decade-old sexual assault allegation published this month in UK media. Notably, YouTube, too much criticism, has banned Brand from monetization on all of his accounts over the allegations, though Brand has no charges against him. Yeah, there's not even any charges against him. This is not even going to court. There's no charges. And they're just, they're okay, we're going to cancel you because someone said you did something. That's fucked up. So anyway, now Burger King has paused advertising on Brand's Rumble channel. Meal kit company HelloFresh has pulled ads from the entirety of Rumble. There's, hundred thousands of channels on Rumble, and they're pulling their ads from Rumble because of one person. They don't want your voice heard. Telling News Movement when it reached out about the allegations, said, thanks for pointing this out to us. We have manually removed our ads from all of Rumble. Fashion company ASOS pulled ads this week. And then we know the allegations surfaced from a joint investigation of the Sunday Times, The Times, and Channel 4 dispatches. The alleged victims were reached out to by the media before detailing their actions because he's savaging the mainstream, Mockingbird media. That's why. And they're as bad as the FBI. Remember when, what was his name? What was this dumb, stupid fuckwad senator guy? The smarmy prick from New York, Chuck Schumer. They have 7 ways to Sundays to get back at you. Well, Brand has been a gadfly to media lately, and so now they're retaliating. In MRC TV, even fact checkers can't cover Biden losing 85,000 kids and flying in migrants. So they're not just coming across the border. Yeah, Rumble has ads. That's how they do. They're flying in migrants. Now, this is interesting. Under Joe Biden's centralized federal bureaucracy, the migrant flood along the borders of southern U.S. states has been such a pressing problem that many conservatives are starting to acknowledge the wisdom of federalism and of states to handle things unfettered by the feds. And many are acknowledging that no matter how many old guard news agencies and how many U.S. bureaus try to hide the truth, this federal immigration bureaucracy is both losing track of vulnerable migrant kids who have been separated from their parents. What? They're separating kids from their parents? Where the fuck is Alexander Ocasio-Cortez? AOC. They're losing track of vulnerable migrant kids who've been separated from their parents and also literally flying migrants in and around the U.S. while trying to keep it quiet. I just remember I've been saying there's a tourism industry bringing people across water so they can make their way through the southern border. Some of them, they're just flying in. To see just how impossible it is for even mainstream media to hide the dark results of the Biden immigration insanity, take a look at the Newsweek attempt to fact-check the claim that 85,000 unaccompanied migrant kids have gone missing from the federal tracking system. In July, Newsweek released a piece by Tom Norton. We'll put that in the links today. I'm not going to read it. To which they attached a prejudicial headline implying that there was some errant belief they were going to question. Quote, this is the headline. Under Joe Biden, have 85,000 undocumented children gone missing? Now, the natural tendency would be to view that as a query dripping with skepticism, and the Norton piece adopts that tone as first he lays out information on the vast side of the migrant flood. Then he mentions that in May, a 17-year-old Honduran migrant died while reportedly in U.S. custody, and that the seriousness of the situation is inspiring some, quote unquote, that the famous some, to fear that immigration is becoming a partisan issue. Yes, the mayors of New York, Denver, Chicago, and Los Angeles are all partisan right-wing Republican MAGA extremists. As if it hasn't been for decades, and implying that some troubling border stories are less than authentic and served up merely to gain political strength. Really? 7 point whatever million we talked about earlier. Incidents like this have, at the very least, highlighted the treacherousness that children face. Some, however, argue that these stories risk becoming a tool of partisan politics. The American people are starting to see through your bullshit. If that is true, therein lies the possibility that information and data surrounding this phenomenon could become distorted as a result. Now, the latter might be true, but why not just report on the issue of the 85,000 missing kids, rather than delay and couch things and right under the seeming pretense that one is bringing balance to a story that's being politically manipulated? After his hemming and hawing, when Norton finally gets to the facts, he confirms the conservative claims that a Facebook post by former U.S. senatorial candidate Peggy Hubbard posted on 11 July 2023 read, 85,000 plus illegal migrant children have gone missing according to DHS since Biden took office. Norton doesn't answer that question. Instead, he steadfastly stays on his high horse, acting like an all-seeing journalist, and offers, quote, to start, the figure appears to be sourced from a New York Times article, are they lying? Published in February 2023 about migrant children working in jobs that violate labor laws. The article states that in 2022, there were 130,000 unaccompanied minors who entered the U.S., 3 times what it was 5 years earlier. 130 fucking thousand? All unaccompanied. These minors were not children who had been stolen into the country undetected, the article read, but that's not what the Facebook post claims. It's a Snopes-style red herring claiming that something that was not stated and then attacking it. Norton continues. It added, the federal government knows they are in the United States. The Department of Health and Human... Well, at least they know they're the general vicinity, right? Health and Human Services is responsible for ensuring sponsors will support them and protect them from trafficking or exploitation. All of which seems solid, except that once we discover the truth that the kids are unaccounted for, no one can make any claim about where the kids might be. They might be in Timbuktu for all we know. Undaunted, though, Norton adds, quote, the Times report also included figures attributed to the Department of Health and Human Services about monitoring checks carried out on all unaccompanied minors who've been homed after entering the U.S., which merely drags out the length of time it takes for the reader to say, what the fuck? The claim is 100% true and verified by the feds. So finally, Norton writes, this is where the 85,000 missing figure appears to have come from. While HHS checks on all minors by calling them a month after they began living with their sponsors, data obtained by the Times shows that over the last 2 years, the agency could not reach more than 85,000 children. Overall, the agency immediately lost contact with a third of migrant children. So, first of all, people are sending their children, 130,000 as of this article, across the border by themselves. Now, imagine the hell that those kids go through. I'm sure that they get sold and whatever to the traffickers and whatever. This is disgusting, man. And also the other part was here. Let's see. Here's the other one too. It took a Freedom of Information Act to move by the Center for Immigration Studies to uncover the fact that the Biden administration over the course of a year has facilitated more than 200,000 migrants to fly to airports inside the U.S. They flew them in. CIS author Todd Bensman says, a little known part of the Biden administration's Border Patrol 1 parole program permits inadmissible aliens to make an appointment to fly directly to airports in the interior of the United States, bypassing the border altogether. Partial data on the program just obtained by the Center for Immigration Studies pursuant to a Freedom of Information Act request reveals that more than 200,000 people from 4 countries have used this direct flight and parole program over the past year. Have you heard about this in the press at all? That the Biden administration is flying some of these people in that have no business to be here? Holy fucking shit. Anyway. And there's the Newsweek articles here that this Tom Norton wrote where he's just dripping with condescension and finally at the end admits that, yes, 85,000 children are missing. They don't know where the fuck they are. All right, let's go through the headlines. I got to get out of here. In MSNBC prep, democracy as emerging as the new kitchen table issue. Yes, they've been punching this democracy bullshit on you. Oh, our democracy is in danger. Democracy. So now they're saying that there's a poll that says that that one of the issues in the next election will be democracy. There's what the article looks like. Oh, let's go left side there. So there's Joe Scarborough. Oh, he's great. I love him. In legal insurrection, United Auto Workers are now striking at 38 locations in 20 states. You know they're on strike. Apparently, so Donald Trump visited auto workers, I guess, on strike on the picket line. And so, of course, now that he's done that, Joe Biden has now finally decided that he will do it. Given the presidential campaign this year, 2 men currently in the lead in their respective parties are vying to gain favor with the striking employees. Both plan to visit the battleground state of Michigan this week. President Biden will... see, Trump announced he was going there, and a couple weeks ago, some of the reporters in the White House press corps were asking Karine Jean-Pierre whether or not Joe Biden was going to go to the picket lines, and he wasn't. But then there was news that Donald Trump had planned on going, so now Biden's going to go. He's going to visit the workers on the picket line on Tuesday, one day before Trump stops in the Detroit to do the same. So he's got an emergency meeting amongst his handlers and these string holders that, do this, and they said, you better go because Trump's going there and you're going to look like an idiot if you don't. But the problem is, Joe Biden's problem is that he's so on this clean energy kick and electric vehicles and shit that he's kind of working both sides of that aisle there as far as the auto workers are concerned, and they have not endorsed him. The United Auto Workers, imagine that a giant union is not endorsing the Democratic candidate right now. That's amazing. So maybe it's too early. I don't know, but they're not doing it. So anyway, so he's going there to save face the fact that Trump was already going there. And look, the rank and file union members, and I know this from my own experience, rank and file union members, they ain't there for the Democrats right now. The rank and file are really like Trump. And again, I know this from experience being in a union. Rank and file ain't thinking about Joe Biden again. All right, in the Daily Caller, food banks are inundated with requests for aid as inflation bites. Does that surprise anybody that the food banks they're struggling a bit just because the price of fucking food right now? It's insane, and it hasn't come down. What did Latrine say? We've been fighting to lower costs for the American people, and we've done that. No, you haven't. You lowered the rate of inflation, and it's never gone down. Shut the fuck up. Lowered costs from your own personal highs. Also, another Biden article, Biden spent billions in China, or to cut China out of the green energy supply chain. Now his administration states that can't happen. See, China is like major doing green electric shit, and he's, Biden wants all this green energy, and they're the biggest player, and then you're going to cut them out of the green energy game? Well, that's dumb. Especially since, they're strip mining all their cobalt and whatever materials they need. And they're going to need to take more out of Africa. So you can't cut them out because they kind of have the market, right? Anyway, whole article on that. I don't need to go through it. Also in the Free Beacon, how the Biden administration is using climate crisis to make housing more expensive. Yes, they're they're requiring new standards on different materials that cost way, way more. His energy department on Tuesday announced a $400 million program aimed at incentivizing state and local governments to implement building codes that lower greenhouse gas emissions and fight the climate crisis. Never let a crisis go to waste. And of the $400 million, $240 million will go to governments that implement one energy conservation code unveiled in the 2021. Complying with the code can add as much as $31,000 to the price of a new home. Just what we need. So, is that a surprise to anybody? I don't think so. In the Daily Wire, the GOP in Texas passed a unanimous resolution calling for a special legislative session on Colony Ridge. Now, this is remember we talked about last week, this development that this property, whatever land developer is making, that is basically a haven for illegal immigrants. Well, the party chairman says the illegal immigrant development highlighted by the Daily Wire should be a grave concern for all Texans. Yeah, it should. The Republican Party of Texas announced unanimously they're passing a resolution calling for Governor Greg Abbott to convene a special legislative session to address Colony Ridge, the massive housing development north of Houston that's become a hub for illegal immigrants. The resolution, which passed on a vote of 61-0, says a special legislative session must be convened in order to prevent further settlement of illegal aliens in Colony Ridge and any other areas of Texas. The power to call special legislative session is with Abbott, who has already been urged by the state's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick to do the same. So this is that. So there's a land developer in north of Houston, right? And basically they're building all these homes. They're building all these neighborhoods. 60 something acres or something like that? I thought they said, of homes geared towards illegal aliens. They're doing their own financing. They're financing the place by their own, but they're also selling land really cheap to illegal aliens. And the thing is, I said this before, it's got to be some kind of a scam too, and exploiting these people, because, you know, the way they're doing, there's no banks financing. They're using their own money to finance these, you know, these plats, and with the, you know, the idea that they're going to build on. But, you know, when you do stuff like that, you can make your own terms for the loans. You can make your own terms for how you foreclose them. If they miss a payment, you can foreclose on them and sell it again. It sounded so freaking sketchy. So good. They need to look into this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's in the article. You can read that, but that's good. They need to do that. The Equal Opportunity Employment Commission is in the news, and this is also one of Biden's blunders. They're making it easier to hire individuals with criminal records for government positions. Now, that's interesting, because they're attempting to make a certain guy with funny hair a criminal. But if they're making it easier to hire individuals with criminal records for government positions, well, I think he might still be eligible for a certain government position. But anyway, the Equal Opportunity Commission issued 2 reports this month pointing out that prior to Biden's executive order, he signed this executive order, right? And I can remember a time, if you wanted a criminal in government, you had to get him elected. Not anymore. An executive order signed by Joe Biden in 2021 now encourages criminals to be hired. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission issued 2 reports this month pointing out that prior to Biden's executive order, a task force was formed to identify vulnerable workers and find ways to better help them. Government agencies are now being told to widely publicize that they are hiring persons with criminal records or criminal conduct issues in their background checks. The federal government is. Since Biden penned this executive order, applicants with questionable histories have rarely been eliminated from the hiring process for government jobs. The EEOC is saying that employers should take a holistic approach with special consideration for mitigating circumstances. Now, look, not everyone with a criminal record's a bad person, and I don't know, but, this just sounds like, I don't know, just the same shit that Biden does. It's like, we're going to lower penalties for shoplifting and not charge you in California if, what you steal is under $900. So they steal $899 worth of shit and avoid prosecution. They just walk into Walgreens with a garbage bag and just take shit that they want, and they're not going to chase you down. And that's what this sounds like. This sounds like a really noble idea that's going to have bad consequences, but, And in fact, the next line, this is such a liberal tactic that it makes me cringe. The thought process here was that more blacks and Latinos are incarcerated, so these considerations should go toward those racial profiles. That may not be spelled out in a written word, but it's exactly the intent. Yes, it is the low, what is it? What is it? I can't, see, I'm going all Biden. I talk about Biden, I start sounding like Biden. It's not the prejudice of low expectations. What's the words? Someone put it in the chat. I can't remember what it is. In legal insurrection, the CDC will not release latest information on post-COVID heart conditions. They're refusing to tell you. They won't release new data on reported cases of heart conditions after someone gets COVID-19 vaccines. The CDC has already confirmed the vaccine can cause myocarditis, bigotry of low expectations, yes. And pericarditis, both are heart inflammatory conditions. That's weird because the government is pushing people to get the new Fauci juice this fall. The soft bigotry of low expectations, yes. The agency has regularly conveyed the number of post-vaccination myocarditis and pericarditis cases to the vaccine adverse event reporting system, which helps it manage, and it has consulted with its advisors on updates to the vaccines. But during a meeting on September 12th, the CDC did not mention the VAERS data. As for the information, the CDC spokesman pointed to a CDC study that covers data only through October 23rd, 2022. So they don't want you to know, you the bad things. That's where they're at. So great. You can read the article. Free Beacon. Unprecedented. California health workers face fine or imprisonment for going maskless. Bay Area counties issue seasonal mask mandates for all healthcare workers, citing increased risk for respiratory viruses. Some of California's most populous counties have made seasonal mask mandates the new normal for healthcare workers due to an increased risk of respiratory viruses during the winter months, a move that critics say is an overreach unsupported by science. She blinded me with science. San Mateo, Contra Costa, and Sonoma counties in California and San Francisco Bay Area last week issued orders that workers in hospitals, doctors' offices, and other clinical sites must mask up from November to April. They followed the lead of nearby Santa Clara County, which last March wrote its own flu season mandates that applies to everyone in medical settings. Of these health agencies, only Sonoma County set an end date of April 2024. The others said they will enforce their orders every year from November to April until further notice. So, fan-fucking-tastic. The ever-producing masks that don't do much. According to science, to actual science, they're going to make you wear one anyway. So get your face diapers out if you live in those counties. So I mentioned Robert Menendez. He's a big time fundraiser because New Jersey politicians they know how to raise money. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So anyway, apparently his PAC gave money to Tim Kaine and Bob Casey, amongst others. And so now they're concerned that the stench of Bob Menendez is going to rub off on them. Good. It should. You can read that if you want. And then also, and here's his excuse, by the way. So he's, being indicted. Senator Bob Menendez claims he withdrew thousands of dollars in cash over the last 30 years after $480,000 were found at his home in a bribery investigation. He claimed that he had withdrawn thousands of dollars over the past 3 years after, whatever. His claim came during a press conference that NewJersey.com noted was at the Hudson Community College Union City in New Jersey campus. Notably, the community college is situated in New Jersey's 8th Congressional District, which his son, Representative Bob Menendez, represents. So there's two of them. There's the senator, and then his son is the congressman. For 30 years, I have withdrawn thousands of dollars in cash from my personal savings account, which I have kept for emergencies because of the history of my family facing confiscation in Cuba. Oh, is that it? When the fuck when was the last time you were in Cuba, Bob? Give me a break. So you have $480,000 in your house because of emergency, whatever you need it? Oh my God. What an asshole. Oh my God. Did the gold bars, is that included too? They found him stuffed in jackets and all kinds of shit. He is so precious. All right. Let's see. I'm going to finish up with this one. This is also Bob Menendez. It's the Bob Menendez segment, obviously. So apparently the president of Mexico, who likes to take verbal dumps on the United States, claimed that the conservative media refuses to talk about Republican Bob Menendez. Now, wait a minute. There's a Republican Bob Menendez too? Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador tried to slam conservative media, claiming they will not report on the corruption investigation of U.S. Senator Bob Menendez. The Mexican president mistakenly claimed that conservative news outlets would provide cover for Menendez because he's a Republican from Texas, not a Democrat from New Jersey, which is the actual truth. The statements came during Monday's news conference where Mexican politicians briefly discussed the case. These news outlets from the right conservatives are not going to say they found gold bars, López Obrador said. The Republican Senator Bob Menendez from Texas, he has always been against us. They are not going to say that. That is not a story. Well, that's because he's not from Texas and he's not a Republican. He's a Democrat from New Jersey, but that's called deflection by the Mexican president. And on that note, before you touch anything, including yourself, please, 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 right now, share this motherfucking stream to somebody. Put it out there. Say, hey, this is my favorite. If you do it on YouTube, click that little box and highlight your favorite story. I don't care. So just share. Sharing is caring. And, I want to feel the love, but not your love, that because you might have touched yourself. Anyway, and also tomorrow I'll be back here at my normal time, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, roughly. Not always on time while I'm on my work hiatus for my brand new ceramic and titanium hip, but it's around this time. Watch your notifications. Follow me on Locals. Follow me on Rumble. Follow me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. And just let me, we'll see you back again. Welcome to my newbies, Kara Soldier, and who else was new here? There's a bunch of new people here today. Kara Soldier was the second in the chat, though. That was amazing. You almost beat AD, and that's a hard feat. AD is Johnny on the spot, and you are Johnny on number 2. And welcome back to some of the people who have been around for a while. It's good to see y'all. Darren Root is fairly new here. A bunch of you. So, and then tomorrow, say Tuesday? Yeah, tomorrow afternoon, 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, I will also be hosting the AAA with Sinatra and Drunken Uncle. The Silent Sin. His new channel is The Silent Sin. I'll be hosting that. So, a lot of you who know people who watch that have to remind them that they got to come to my channel to watch it this week on Wednesday. So, looking forward to that. All right, that's it. Do all the other stuff that everyone else tells you to do, but share the stream is the number one thing. I got to go. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. My name is Pete Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a fantastic freaking day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.